She was exhausted and starving, walking alone through the forest in search of firewood to cut, just so she could sell and eat. Suddenly, she spotted an old woman struggling to carry a heavy bundle of wood. Without hesitation, she hurried over to help, carrying the firewood all the way down to the old woman's home. In gratitude, the woman blessed her with a magical necklace. But what she didn't know was that this necklace would change her life forever. Let me tell you the story. Amina woke up at 4 a.m. Like every morning, the darkness was still thick. Her body ached. Her stomach twisted from hunger. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. She stood up slowly from the mat on the ground. Her only mat, thin, worn, barely softer than the hard earth beneath it. Her hut was small. Mud walls with cracks running through them like spiderwebs. The roof leaked when it rained. Last week, she woke up soaking wet. There was no door, just an old cloth hanging in the doorway. Amina was 17 years old. She had lived alone since she was 8. That was when her parents died. Fever took them both within 3 days of each other. She remembered crying, begging her father's brothers to take her in. They refused. "We have our own children to feed," they said. Her mother's sisters said the same thing. So Amina stayed in this hut, alone, a child raising herself. She owned one wrapper, just one. It was torn in 3 places. The colour had faded from washing it in the river every week. The fabric was so thin now, it barely kept her warm at night. Her feet were bare, always bare. Cuts covered them from walking on rough ground and thorns. Her hands were rough and calloused from carrying firewood. Her face was thin, hollow cheeks, dark circles under her eyes. Every morning she went to the forest to collect firewood. She had to go early, before other people took all the good branches. She would spend hours filling her bundle, tying it with rope, lifting it onto her head. Then she walked to the market. The market was where her suffering doubled. Children threw stones at her. "Orphan rat!" they shouted. "Go away! You smell like poverty!" Women chased her away from their stalls. "Don't come near me!" they hissed. "You bring bad luck. Everyone knows orphans are cursed." Men laughed when she tried to sell her firewood. "Who will buy from a cursed girl?" they mocked. "Your wood probably brings misfortune." Most days she sold nothing. She would walk home carrying the same bundle she carried there, exhausted, defeated, hungry. But Amina had something the village didn't see. She had kindness. Last week, she found a stray dog, thin like her, starving like her. She had one small piece of cassava, her only food for the day. She broke it in half, gave half to the dog. 2 days ago, her neighbour fell sick. An old woman who lived 3 huts away. Amina carried water from the river for her, made her pepper soup with the vegetables she was saving for herself. Why did she do these things when she had nothing? She didn't know. It just felt wrong not to help. Yesterday was the worst day. She worked from dawn until dusk, collected the biggest bundle of firewood she'd ever carried, walked to the market with hope in her heart. No one bought anything, not one stick. She walked home as the sun set, her vision blurred from hunger and exhaustion. She reached her hut and sat on the ground outside, and she cried, silent tears running down her hollow cheeks. She was so tired of suffering, so tired of being hungry, so tired of being alone. "Why am I still alive?" she whispered to the darkening sky. "What is the point of this life?" But then she wiped her tears. She stood up. She walked inside her broken hut, and she made a decision. Tomorrow, she would try again. She wouldn't give up. She couldn't give up, because giving up meant dying. And something deep inside her said, asterisk, not yet. Your time hasn't come yet. She lay down on her thin mat, touched her empty stomach, and forced herself to sleep. Tomorrow. She would try again tomorrow. The next evening, Amina was in the forest. She had worked all day. Her bundle of firewood was ready, heavy, pressing into her head as she balanced it. Her body screamed for rest. Her vision swam. She hadn't eaten today either. 3 days now without food. She just needed to get home, collapse, sleep. Maybe tomorrow would be different. Then she saw her, an old woman, very old, maybe 70 years or more. She was bent over, struggling with a massive bundle of firewood, too big for her frail body. The woman was heading north. Amina's hut was south, completely opposite directions. Amina stopped. Her legs trembled. She watched the old woman stumble, almost fall, catch herself. Every part of Amina's body said, asterisk, keep walking. You can't help. You can barely stand. But her heart said something else. She remembered her own mother, how she struggled before she died, how no one helped. Amina closed her eyes, took a breath, and walked toward the old woman. Mama, she called softly, let me help you. The woman turned. Her face was weathered, lined with deep wrinkles, but her eyes were kind. Child, you have your own load, the woman said. I'm young. I'm strong. Amina lied. She wasn't strong. She was dying. But the woman didn't need to know that. Amina set down her bundle. She took half of the woman's firewood and added it to her own load. Now she was carrying double. Her legs nearly buckled. Where do you live, Mama? Amina asked. Just up the path. Not far, the woman said. It wasn't not far. It was far. Very far. They walked for an hour. Every step was agony. Amina's vision darkened at the edges. Her breath came in gasps. Sweat poured down her face despite the cool evening air. She wanted to drop the wood and run, but she couldn't leave the old woman. Finally, they reached a compound. Small, simple, surrounded by trees. Amina lowered the firewood. Her legs gave out. She collapsed to her knees. The old woman rushed to her side. Child, are you all right? Amina tried to smile. I'm fine, Mama. Just tired. But the woman was looking at her now, really looking. At her torn wrapper, at her skeletal frame, at her hollow cheeks and wounded feet, at her trembling hands. The woman's eyes filled with tears. You have nothing, she whispered. You're starving. And you still helped me? Amina looked away. You needed help. You needed help more than me. The woman's voice broke. Child, when did you last eat? I'll eat tomorrow, Amina said quietly. The woman disappeared inside her hut. She came back with food. Yam, stew. She pressed it into Amina's hands. Eat, please. Amina ate. Her hands shook as she swallowed. The food hit her empty stomach like a miracle. She wanted to cry from the taste of it. When she finished, the woman took her hand. Wait here. The woman went inside again. This time she returned with something wrapped in cloth. She unwrapped it slowly. A necklace. Beautiful. Old. The pendant was strange. Carved from something that looked like ancient amber. It glowed faintly in the twilight. The chain was delicate but strong. Take this, the woman said. No, Mama. I can't. Sell it. Get food, get clothes, get whatever you need. Amina shook her head hard. You need it more than me. You're old, I'm young. I can still work. Child, you can barely walk. Please, for helping me, for being kind when the world is cruel to you. The woman pressed the necklace into Amina's hands. Her grip was surprisingly strong. Amina looked at it. The pendant seemed to pulse with warmth. I don't know what to say. Say you'll take care of yourself. Say you'll remember that kindness still exists. Amina's eyes filled with tears. The first gift anyone had given her in 9 years. Thank you, Mama, she whispered. The woman smiled. No, my daughter. Thank you. Amina wrapped the necklace carefully, put it in the fold of her wrapper, close to her heart. She picked up her firewood bundle. It felt lighter somehow, even though it wasn't. She walked home in the darkness. It took her another hour. By the time she reached her hut, she could barely see straight. She collapsed on her mat, too exhausted even to feel hungry anymore. She pulled out the necklace, looked at it in the moonlight, coming through the cracks in her roof. The pendant glowed softly, like it was alive. I should sell it, she thought. I need the money so badly, but she couldn't. Something stopped her. This was the first time in 9 years someone saw her suffering and cared. The first time someone gave instead of took. She couldn't sell that feeling. She put the necklace around her neck, tucked it under her wrapper where no one could see it. It rested against her skin, warm, comforting, like a mother's hand. "I'll never sell it," she whispered to the darkness. "Never. It's the first gift I ever received. It reminds me that someone cared." She closed her eyes, and for the first time in years, she fell asleep smiling. Week 1, after receiving the necklace. Amina went to the market like always, the necklace hidden under her torn wrapper, against her skin. She didn't know why, but she felt different, stronger somehow. She set up her firewood, expected the usual insults, the usual rejection, but something changed. A wealthy trader stopped at her pile. He actually looked at her firewood, picked up a piece, examined it. "This is good quality," he said. Amina's heart jumped. No one ever complimented her wood. "How much?" he asked. She stammered out her price, the same price everyone else rejected. He reached into his pocket, pulled out twice the amount. "You look like you need it," he said simply. Amina stared at the money in her shaking hands. Twice what she asked, enough for food for 3 days. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. He smiled and walked away. Amina touched the necklace under her wrapper. Asterisk, did it do something? Week 2. Amina was walking back from the forest. A woman called out to her. "Girl, you there?" Amina turned, ready for insults. But the woman's face was kind. "I need someone to help on my farm. Are you interested?" Amina couldn't believe it. "Yes, Ma. Yes, please. It pays well. 1 meal included daily. A meal every day." Amina's eyes filled with tears. "When do I start?" "Tomorrow morning." That night, Amina cried into her mat. But these were different tears. Hope tears. The woman had said something strange, though. "Something about you. You seem trustworthy." Amina didn't understand. She looked the same, wore the same torn clothes, but something had changed. Month 2. The farm work was good. Amina ate every day now. Her body grew stronger, her face less hollow. One afternoon, the village chief's wife visited the farm. She watched Amina work, watched how carefully Amina handled everything, how she helped other workers without being asked. The chief's wife approached her. "I've been watching you. You work hard. You're kind to everyone." Amina bowed her head respectfully. "I need someone to manage my household. Interested?" Amina couldn't speak. Managing the chief's household? That was a position people fought for. "It pays more. You'll have a room. 3 meals every day." Amina fell to her knees. "Thank you, Ma. Thank you." 2 weeks later, Amina moved from her broken hut to the servant quarters in the chief's compound. The room had walls without cracks, a roof that didn't leak, a real bed, a door that closed. Amina lay on the bed that first night and sobbed. 3 months ago, she was sleeping on the ground, starving. Now she had a bed, and food, and safety. She touched the necklace. It pulsed warm against her skin. Month 4, the chief's wife discovered something. "Amina, can you read this for me?" She handed Amina a letter. Amina read it aloud. Clearly, perfectly, the chief's wife gasped. "You can read and write?" "My mother taught me before she died, Ma." "Why didn't you tell anyone?" "No one asked, Ma." The chief's wife's eyes lit up. The chief needs help with records, with accounts. Someone who can read and write and count. Within a week, Amina was promoted. She now worked directly with the chief, managing records, organizing accounts. The pay doubled. People in the village started noticing. Isn't that the orphan rat? She works for the chief now. How did she? Month 6. Amina had saved money. Actual money. More than she'd ever seen in her life. She bought a small piece of land at the edge of the village. Started planting vegetables. Tomatoes, peppers, onions. Everything grew. Fast, healthy, abundant. She sold the vegetables at market. They sold out immediately. Your vegetables are the best. So fresh. I'll buy everything you have. Amina's hands shook as she counted her profit. In one market day, she made more than she used to make in a month of selling firewood. She bought more seeds, planted more, hired 2 other poor girls to help her, paid them well, fed them, treated them with kindness. The business grew and grew and grew. People whispered, "The orphan girl is becoming rich. How is this possible?" What changed? Amina didn't tell anyone about the necklace. She wore it always, hidden, secret. But she wondered too. Was it the necklace? Or was it just her time to be blessed? She touched it one evening, sitting under a tree near her growing farm. "Thank you," she whispered, to the necklace, to the old woman, to God, to whoever was listening. "Thank you for seeing me. 6 months ago, she was invisible. Cursed, rejected. Now people saw her, respected her, wanted to work with her. Everything she touched turned to success. It felt like magic. But Amina stayed humble. She remembered the hunger, the cold, the loneliness. She would never forget. And she would never become cruel like those who had been cruel to her. Month 9. Amina's vegetable farm became something more. A trader from town visited. "I hear you grow the best produce. I want to buy everything. Can you supply me weekly?" Amina said yes. She expanded, bought more land, hired more workers. Started buying produce from other small farmers too. She became a middleman, buying from villages, selling to town. The profit was enormous. Month 11. A major opportunity came. A wealthy merchant in the big town needed a reliable supplier. Someone honest, someone trustworthy. He'd heard about Amina. "Everyone says you're fair, you pay on time, you keep your word." He offered her a contract. Supply his shops with produce, grains, everything. One deal, one single deal. Amina made more money than she'd made in her entire life combined. She sat in her room that night, staring at the money. She touched the necklace, and she cried. She remembered sleeping on the ground, starving, begging for mercy. "How is this real?" she whispered. Month 12. 1 year. Exactly 1 year since she helped the old woman. Amina was now the richest person in the village. She owned a large compound, beautiful, strong walls, multiple rooms, a compound bigger than the chief's. She wore fine clothes now, good shoes. Her feet no longer bled. Her body was healthy, her face full, her eyes bright. She ate 3 meals a day, could afford anything. The village was in shock. The orphan rat is richer than all of us? How did this happen? She must have used juju. No, she worked hard. She was smart. People argued, gossiped. Some were jealous, some were amazed. But Amina didn't care about their opinions because she had something more important to do. Her first action with her wealth. She found them. All 7 orphans in the village. Children living like she once lived. Hungry, alone, suffering. She brought them to her compound. built a special wing. Rooms for each child, beds, clothes, food. You'll live here now, she told them. Their faces were confused, disbelieving. You'll eat every day, you'll go to school, you'll never sleep hungry again, the children cried. One little girl, maybe 6 years old, hugged Amina's legs. Are you an angel? She whispered. Amina knelt down, held the girl's face. No, sweetie, I'm just someone who remembers what it's like to be you. She fed them, clothed them, enrolled them in school, gave them everything she never had. No child will suffer like I did, she declared, not while I'm alive. Her second action. She went back to her old hut, the broken one, the one with cracks and leaks and no door. People thought she would destroy it, build something else there. She didn't. She repaired it, fixed the roof, filled the cracks, put a proper door, but kept it simple, exactly as it was, just functional. Why? Her workers asked. So I never forget where I came from. Every week she visited that hut, sat inside, touched the walls, remembered the hunger, the cold, the loneliness, touched her necklace. Never forget, she told herself. Never forget. The village changed around her. Some people were jealous, spreading rumours. She's a witch. She used dark magic. But more people loved her because she helped everyone. She built a well for the village, fixed the roads, gave jobs to those who needed them. The children who once threw stones at her now bowed respectfully. Good morning, Ma Amina. The women who chased her away now asked for her help. She gave it freely. The men who mocked her now sought her business advice. Amina helped them all, but she stayed humble. She still worked hard, every single day, treated her servants like family, paid them more than anyone else in the village, shared her wealth freely, never bragged, never showed off, never became cruel, because she remembered. One evening, sitting in her beautiful compound, surrounded by the 7 orphans laughing and playing, Amina touched her necklace. 1 year ago I was dying, she whispered. Today I'm giving life to others. She looked up at the sky. How did this happen? Was it you, God? Was it the necklace? Was it just my time? She thought about the old woman, the gift, the kindness. I need to find her, Amina decided. I need to thank her properly. I need to tell her what her gift did for me. Tomorrow she would go looking. Tomorrow she would find the old woman and show her how one act of kindness changed everything. The next morning, Amina set out. She remembered the path. North, through the forest, the long walk. The compound surrounded by trees. She walked with purpose, her heart full of gratitude. But when she arrived, her heart stopped. The compound was abandoned, empty, completely empty. The hut was falling apart. No one had lived there for years. Weeds grew everywhere. The door hung broken. No, Amina whispered. This can't be right, she asked villagers nearby. An old woman? Who lived here? They shook their heads. No one has lived there for 10 years, maybe longer. But I was here. I walked her home. I saw her go inside. They looked at her strangely. Sister, that place has been empty since we were children. Amina's mind spun. How? She was there. It was real. Was she? Was the old woman real? She touched her necklace. The one proof she had. It was real, solid, warm against her skin. Who are you? She whispered to it. 2 weeks later, Amina's orphanage was ready for the official opening ceremony. The entire village came, even people from neighbouring villages. Everyone wanted to see what the former orphan rat had built. 7 children stood in new clothes, clean, healthy, smiling. So different from the skeletal, dirty children they were 2 months ago. Amina stood before the crowd. Her voice shook with emotion. I know what these children feel, she began. I know hunger that makes you dizzy, cold that keeps you awake, loneliness that crushes your spirit." The crowd was silent. "I built this place so no child suffers alone. Every orphan in this village and beyond will have a home here. Food, school, love." People clapped. Many cried. Then the crowd began to part. A path formed through the middle, and she walked through. The old woman, exactly as Amina remembered, weathered face, kind eyes. But something was different. She seemed to glow, to shimmer. Everyone saw her, but no one seemed surprised, like they were in a trance. She walked straight to Amina. Amina's hand flew to her necklace. Her legs trembled. "Mama?" she whispered. The old woman smiled, a smile that held universes of love. "Amina, my daughter, do you know who I am?" Amina shook her head, tears already falling. The old woman took Amina's hands. "I am the spirit of your mother." Amina collapsed. The crowd gasped. The 7 orphans cried out, but the old woman held her. Strong arms around her, real, solid. "When I died and left you at 8 years old, I begged the ancestors," her mother said. "Don't leave my daughter alone in this cruel world." Her voice echoed across the compound. They told me, "She must suffer first. Suffering reveals true character. When she proves her heart is pure, when she helps others despite having nothing, then we will bless her beyond measure." Amina sobbed into her mother's shoulder. "I watched you for 9 years. Every tear, every hungry night, every insult, I felt it all with you." "Why didn't you help me sooner?" Amina cried. "Because greatness without compassion is worthless. You had to suffer so you would remember suffering. You had to know pain so you would ease the pain of others." Her mother pulled back, looked into Amina's eyes. "That night in the forest, you had nothing. You were dying, yet you helped a stranger. You went out of your way. That was the moment. That proved your heart." She touched the necklace around Amina's neck. "This didn't create your wealth, my daughter. Your kindness created your wealth. This was just my way of watching over you, of guiding good people toward you, of opening doors you couldn't see." The crowd stood frozen, witnessing a miracle. "You were always meant for greatness, but I needed you to be great with compassion, to be wealthy with wisdom, to be powerful with mercy." Her mother smiled through her own tears. "Look at what you built, an orphanage. You help children like yourself. That is why you were blessed. That is why you suffered. So you would know, so you would care, so you would help." "I'm so proud of you, my daughter." Amina couldn't speak, could only cry. Her mother embraced her. 9 years. 9 years since she felt her mother's arms. "Keep the necklace. When you wear it, know I'm always with you. Help orphans, and you help me. Your suffering wasn't wasted. It created who you are." "I love you, Mama," Amina sobbed. "I love you more than all the stars, my precious girl." Her mother began to fade, slowly, like morning mist in sunlight. "No, don't leave again." "I never left, Amina. I was always there, and I'll always be there. In your heart, in your kindness, in every child you save." She faded completely, back to the ancestors. The crowd released from their trance, gasping, crying. Everyone had seen it. Amina stood there. The 7 orphans ran to her, hugged her legs, crying with her. She looked up at the sky, tears streaming down her face, but smiling, finally understanding. "Thank you, Mama," she whispered. "I'll make you proud. I'll help every orphan I find. No child will suffer alone, I promise." The necklace glowed warm against her heart, and Amina knew. Her mother was always watching, always loving, always there. The village learned that day. True wealth isn't measured in money, but in kindness. Amina was rich when she had nothing, because she gave what she didn't have. The ancestors don't reward perfection. They reward kindness when being kind costs everything. Help others even when you have nothing, and the universe will give you everything. Your suffering today builds your character for tomorrow's blessings. Never lose your kindness, even when the world is cruel. Kindness is a seed that always grows into abundance. Amina became the richest, not because of a magical necklace, but because she had the richest heart. And that, more than gold, more than land, more than anything in this world, is what the ancestors bless. Remember, the help you give when you can barely help yourself, that is the help that changes your destiny forever.